have a very special guest. She transformed her lifestyle at the age of 50 and she started to be an advocate for fit at 50. Can you imagine embracing fitness at the age of 50? How many of us have thought of that? So with that note, I'm so proud to welcome our very special guest, Kala Sekhar, and let's learn from her how she transformed her career and her life journey by embracing life at 50. A very good evening to all of you. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Reengineered podcast. Welcome, Kala.
Thank you very much, Madhu, for having me on your show. It's a pleasure to be here.
And it's such an honor to see such a beautiful lady and changing lives at 50 and coming up with this philosophy, because I think people say that your second phase of life starts at 50 and you proved it correct.
Thank you.
And tell us about your background and how you started wellness with Kala and coming up with a concept like life starts at 50.
So my education background is a bachelor's in nutrition and dietetics and a double major in biology.
Okay.
So you can see I've always been interested in the human body, the human anatomy, and how the body can be healthy, So for years, I've actually worked and lived in about 8 countries around the world.
Wow.
And I've been, my first career was a high school IB biology teacher. So I was in the field of biology for a very long time. And then I moved to London and ended up in a desk job, which required me to be sitting in front of a computer for at least 12 to 14 hours, And that's at a stretch. And that's when my health started deteriorating, where I started noticing my posture was getting incorrect. My diet was incorrect. And that was the time I was turning 40. And when you're in a sedentary job, you end up snacking things that you shouldn't be snacking, just out of sheer boredom because you're sitting in a desk job.
Yeah.
And that is the time when all these hereditary diseases will start coming to you. Things that your father or your grandfather had, diabetes.
It starts creeping in.
They start creeping in. Till then, they would be hiding behind.
Yeah.
But once you turn 40 and, that age around 40, 45, little things like diabetes, high blood pressure, triglyceride, cholesterol, all that starts creeping in. You start gaining weight and you don't know why you're gaining weight and all of that. So that is the time I decided that I really need to make a lifestyle change because my health was spiraling out of control. I was overweight. I was, all my basic parameters weren't good. My blood pressure was very high and all of that. So I had been doing yoga on and off. I had the privilege of learning from different teachers all over the world. But I hadn't done anything for myself as to increase my knowledge of yoga.
Okay.
So that's when I decided, now is the time. Career is there, yes, but we have to take a drastic change if this is not working out for you. In the age of 40, 45, if what you're doing is not keeping you happy, it's not keeping you fit, you have to take that call and do something where your passion is, where your interest is, and go towards it. So that's when I decided to do a very intensive teacher training course with the British Wheel of Yoga. That's a 2.5-year course where, I really went into the basics of the human anatomy, yoga, the asanas, the history of yoga itself, and yoga therapy, how we can cure certain diseases with yoga, learned about meditation, pranayama, and all of that. And then ever since I've been teaching, and I taught in London for a while and became a certified yoga instructor. And I became qualified where I can offer courses for people who want to become yoga teachers themselves with the Yoga Alliance. Okay. So that is my journey, how I got into yoga.
Yeah. Yes. And at the age of 40, when it started, your health started deteriorating. That point of time, you thought of doing all these courses so that you are aware.
And you have to learn. I mean, education is important in any field that you're going. And not many people will take this risk of leaving a cushy job and
corporate job
and going into a field where not necessarily money is, yoga teachers don't necessarily earn big money, but then you're doing a huge favor, not just to yourself, to your own health, but also helping others who are in dire need of this kind of a help.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you did this one, this course, how many years before?
When I was around 40, 42, that's when I finished.
And your lifestyle re-engineered your own career.
Completely re-engineered my own health, my own career, and started something totally different, from where I was. I was a college counselor and helping children get into good universities in the UK, and put all that aside and went into a totally new field. I have been a practitioner of yoga, but never,
practiced
done
that,
any certified degree in yoga or, become a yoga teacher myself. But this set me thinking, like, why not? Why not take this risk and jump into something unknown, and see where it takes us. If it doesn't take me anywhere, at least I've improved my health.
And now today we are sitting here to witness the journey that you have gone through and how you're flourishing in the domain of yoga right now.
Yes.
And do you think the decision that you had done a few years back was the right decision?
Absolutely the right decision.
Amazing.
And I think it's a lesson for other women that don't be afraid, don't be scared to re-engineer your life.
Yes, re-engineer your
don't be
life.
afraid to re-engineer.
And as you correctly said, right, lifestyle is one of the prominent thing that everyone should be aware of. So how it has changed your lifestyle, before you are yoga instructor and now, and how you are impacting lives now?
Hugely. People come to me. I'm deeply into yoga therapy, where I help people with ailments. Sometimes doctors, they give up and they say, what, surgery is one option, or try yoga,
Okay.
because not many people want to rush into any sort of surgery for spinal problems, shoulder tightness, neck issues, knee issues, or just general digestion issues, anxiety, stress. All of this, there's no quiet remedy with Western medicine,
Correct.
And doctors would just put you on medication,
or surgery.
Or surgery. So that's where yoga plays an important role.
So it is an alternative.
Not for everything, and we are not doctors. I do not propagate that we are doctors and we say we can cure things. But yoga is an alternative therapy where you can try it before you go into surgery. Maybe it can get better if you try yoga, and no harm, isn't it?
Correct. And to be very specific, you have started this niche, Fit at 50. So what is the philosophy for that, and why such a niche?
Well, because I turned 50 myself. So when you reach that age of 50, and when you are on social media or any of the information channels we're browsing, there's tons of information for people in their 20s and their 30s, right?
Okay.
And not much is available for women, especially women, or people in their 50s, And this is the stage where women really need help. And some places it's a little taboo to come out and talk about what's going on within yourself. Women going through perimenopause, menopause itself, the hormonal changes that happen, and you yourself are not aware what is happening. Hot flashes that come in once in a while, or things like even empty nester syndrome, where your kids have grown up and they've gone into
left for universities,
and you are left
all
alone, thinking, where did my life go? What did I do? Because your whole life was catering towards the kids and the family and all of that, and suddenly here you have the whole day free for yourself, and you haven't done anything for yourself, So when I turned 50, that's when I realized that there are so many women out there just like me who need that help,
Okay.
They need help not just in physical,
but mental also.
Physical, mental, and they also need help socially. It's a really good group to have,
social
over
community
50 getting together, and because it's not always you want to be in a group where people have young children they have the different issues.
Correct.
But when you reach this age of 50, your interests are different, your problems are different, what you want to discuss is different, and each of us come with a wealth of knowledge and talent, because
from different segments and different
because
sectors.
Lived our life. We've lived our life for 50 years, half a century.
Correct.
So we come with so much of knowledge and experience that it's good to have a club where we sit together and discuss what issues pertain to women who are at 50. So when I turned 50, I realized there is a good niche and there is a need in the market for women at the age of 50 to come together.
Such a beautiful strategy, and you know, having this niche where you build this community and you share knowledge.
Yes.
Saying that, how many members do you have in Wellness with Kala community, and how you are?
Well, it's a free-flowing community. I have lots and lots of clients who are my long-term students. I have regular classes that I take for yoga. One-on-one clients come to me for yoga therapy. Senior citizens, I even have students who are in their 70s, you know, where they're completely immobile, and I teach them chair yoga, where you can sit on a chair and you know, practice.
Oh wow, it's possible too.
It is possible. So not necessarily you have to you know, go down on the floor or all of that. You know, you can do yoga on a chair too.
Okay.
So I just want to talk about the obstacles that I'm facing in this field. You know, the obstacles would be two things. One, people think yoga is very daunting. They look at all the pictures
of yoga postures and
no, that's something I can't do. No way I can do this. No way I can, you know. And the second thing, there's another group of people who are avid gym goers. They swear by the gym, they swear by cardio, and that's what they do. And for them, yoga is very boring. So
and delegate,
and it's like, what? You just sit on a mat and you close your eyes and you meditate, or you do just breathe? No, that's not for me.
So that they don't agree in this.
They don't enter this field. So this is one of the obstacles that we as yoga teachers face. You know, yoga does not have to be daunting, and yoga is not just physical,
sweating out,
not just physical movement of the body, but it's got tremendous benefits. You know, it's about breathing, it's about pranayama, it's about meditation, it's about mindfulness, it's about sound healing. You know, you could go to a gym for an hour and still come out of the gym feeling stressed out, you know. But if you went for a 1 hour of a yoga class, you're going to come out as a different person for sure.
Exactly. And saying that, do you think yoga is more holistic improvement and development compared to any other?
Yoga is a 360-degree development for you, you know. So you could, you know, you could, depends on what you want on that day. There are days when I teach power yoga, which is you should just attend one of my power yoga sessions, which is a complete sweat out, you know. And we work on body weight and you know, increasing flexibility and strength in your body. Again, that's another thing women over 50 need to do, because your muscle mass starts to reduce drastically once you turn 50. So strength training, weightlifting is very, very important.
It's mandatory.
So if you don't want to weight lift, come to a power yoga class where with your own body weight we you know, train you to increase
so that
your
to build
strength.
muscles. Yes.
Maybe you're not looking for a power yoga session. You want a quieter restorative yoga. You have certain problems in your body. Restorative yoga is there for you. You know, where we give you lots of props. We position the props in such a way that you're in comfort, and you can, you know, we put you on a sound healing, where there's sound healing bowls on one side, and you can actually relax and release, and you can feel the muscles starting to slowly stretch out.
And suppose you're coming out of your corporate world too very much stressed and all that also there is yoga for that.
You can choose different kinds of yoga depending on the mood of your day. You know, it's not like a cardio workout where every day is almost
standardized. You just go and do this exercise.
One day I don't feel like it, but I still feel like doing something. Come for a yin yoga, you know, which is like holding 5 or 6 poses for about 10 to 15 minutes. You know?
It's so beautiful. I was also not aware that there are so many categories of yoga.
And some days you just want to breathe. You're so anxious. You're so stressed out. You have a big meeting tomorrow and you really feel anxious. Your breath is, you know, when you feel anxious, you start with shallow breathing.
Yes.
So maybe a half an hour of pranayama online or in person, that's the thing for you. So just teaching you different breathing techniques. Maybe that's it for today. That's what we do, you know. Or maybe you would like an hour of meditation where you really want to take yourself outside of this world.
Zen out,
go deep within yourself. So yoga is not one thing that fits everyone, you know, and it's not even one thing that fits you every day.
Correct.
So every day of the week you can have different
You can
sessions.
customize
You
it.
can customize it and see how you feel on certain days and go for that kind of a yoga class.
By saying that, by considering so many scenarios, customizing it, how you take care of your clients? Like what is the approach that you do?
Depends on what the client wants.
Okay.
So when I have my one-on-one clients, it's like, hey, what do you feel like doing today?
Okay.
Are you feeling energetic? Can we do a nice power yoga session? And also depends on the time of the day. Are you available in the mornings or in the evenings? Evenings is a little more cooling down and slower yoga. If you're coming to me early mornings, then we'll really get you up for the day.
Okay. So it depends not only your mood, it also depends on the
the
zone,
time of the day.
time of the
Yes.
day, and
Yeah.
and saying that, how many types of yogas are there?
Whoa, there's lots of yoga. I mean, it's all yoga, but now it's gotten into different zones. Power yoga, which is a really fast-paced yoga where you literally sweat it out.
And for muscle building,
Muscle
that is
building,
okay.
strength training. Then you have vinyasa. Vinyasa is a flow where you constantly flowing from one end of the mat to the other end of the mat, getting you flexibility and mobility. Animal yoga is there where we flow like an animal. Then if you want just a simple yoga, then there's hatha yoga, which is the original yoga where it is slow, it is mindful, but at the same time you're getting the poses, the benefit of the different
And there is
poses.
Surya Namaskar
Surya
also?
Namaskar falls into all of these
All of
categories.
these, okay.
In a hatha yoga, we would probably do a slower sun salutation, whereas if you're in a vinyasa or a power class, then it's a little more faster, So it just depends on which class you are. And so yoga is not one thing that fits everyone.
Exactly. And now I believe that, yes, you really took 2.5 years to study
Exactly.
Somen, right? So it's an in-depth study of everything.
And it's never ending. I'm
Yeah,
still
I'm
learning,
still
I'm
learning.
still studying. Because it's something, it's a thing that was passed down from generations, from
Yes.
histories. The sages and the gurus from
Yeah.
so many decades
Yeah,
ago,
decades,
they
yes.
formed this. Patanjali, the father of yoga, I mean, in those days, they have written these books that we are reading even today, and we're not able to understand in depth what they mean.
What they meant.
Yeah,
And it's such a long followed, like several years before it
Yes,
started and still continuing.
Still continuing. Still, there's so much mysteries inside it. We are still trying to understand.
Beautiful. But
Yes.
what do you see? Because you have gone through this journey.
Mhm.
How do you see the difference of yoga in previous years and now yoga, meditation? It's been so much of advertised, commercialized. What's the difference and how we can balance that between authenticity and commercialization?
I think it would be looking for an experienced teacher, a person who understands what yoga actually means.
Okay.
These days you can have teachers who have just done 2 months course and they say they're a yoga teacher.
Instructor.
Yes. So it is, go find a person who has a track record, who has a history of helping people, who has the qualifications. Sometimes it's not just the qualifications and the degree.
It's experience.
It is the experience. So you can have teachers in India who have never done a certification or a degree or anything, but they have enormous experience, and they have seen different human bodies. They've dealt with different ailments that the body has, and in just about a week they can rectify you.
Okay.
So find a teacher who's authentic. Find a teacher who believes in the culture of yoga, not just as yoga as a physical practice,
Okay.
but who believes that yoga is a all-round holistic practice. Yoga cannot be practiced without using your breath. So is the teacher focusing on your inhale and exhale, or is she or he just focusing on the physical movement? Does the class have a little bit of awareness of the breath, while you do the poses? Does the teacher believe in the power of mantras? Even chanting Om for about 5 to 6 times in a class has huge therapeutic benefits.
Yes.
There is a study that's done. Chanting Om is basically just humming. At the end of the day, you're humming to the frequency of the universe. So
And that also brings a difference.
brings an enormous effect in the body.
Okay.
And studies have shown that while you're humming, there's no way you can think of anything else. Try it. Just sit up and close your eyes and just hum. And that vibrations that go into your head, into the brain, you're not, for that moment, you're not thinking of anything else. It's a blank mind. So for that second, you've just been meditating. Even if you don't call it meditation.
But still you are doing it.
You're doing it. And the frequencies, the vibration inside your head, it matters, So choose someone who knows all these, the inner workings,
nitty-gritties of this thing and actually follows it.
It's not about what fancy degrees you have or how many hours of degrees you've done and all of that. Are you a all-round teacher who knows the culture, the history of yoga, who
and believes in that?
In it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So choose someone who is wise rather than someone who's educated.
Yes, that's a mantra actually,
exactly,
right?
yes.
Wiser than being having only degrees.
Only degrees,
yeah.
Exactly.
Beautiful. And coming to now as a consumer side, right? So it's usually difficult for a woman or it's as a normal human being psychology, accepting aging.
Exactly.
Do you think that is also a roadblock, a mind block in everyone's mind, that no, we are not aging, and accepting that mindfulness and embracing the aging mindfully?
Well, now 50 is the new 20.
So that's a trend, right? But does
trend.
it really happen in physical way also, or how it is?
See, people are aging later and later these days. So what the 50 today is totally different from what 50s of our parents or our grandparents. Lifespan has increased. There's a lot of modern medicine that is available, but still you will be surprised how your body starts to change when you're 50. When you reach that 45 to 55 age group, your body starts to change. Your muscle mass starts to reduce.
The
hormonal changes start to happen. Things like you've reached a stage in your career where you think what next. You've probably plateaued out on your career.
Correct.
And then it leads to depression, a bit of insecurity. Maybe your marital life, you also plateaued out. It's a bit of uncertainty.
So many things goes mentally, physically, and
maybe
emotionally.
Before you had the kids around you, so it was
you're busy and
with all of that. Suddenly you're just left with you and your husband, and you hardly know the person. And you're probably rediscovering your married life itself. So 50 is a very important age in anybody's life. It's half your life century. So you can either recreate that age and make the next 50 years.
So it's like make it or break it.
Make it or break it, And it's an age where we start to get comfortable in the rut that we are, that we don't have that courage to break out and come out and, do something that you're really passionate about. Go for your passion, I would say. Maybe at that age you are monetarily, financially stable, where money is not really the criteria for you.
It's not the purpose.
In your 20s and 30s, it is money and career and lifestyle to build is more important. But when you reach 50, it's a little more on what you want for yourself. You've tried everything all your life. What is it you want for yourself?
Just to live for yourself. What brings happiness to you?
Exactly. Not for the kids, not for the husband, not for the in-laws.
For yourself.
For yourself. And that, I find, is a big roadblock, because many women, they don't even know what they want for themselves. And they have it inside them. They have it. They know. They're probably excellent all their lives. They've been excellent in tailoring or sewing or cooking or so many different aspects.
Activities.
They are excellent, but they don't know what they have. They don't even know their worth.
So they don't know the ikigai till the age of 52.
Sometimes, it's like, now what do I do? And I don't have any talent. My kids have left home and I'm all by myself. I'm lonely. My body is not listening to me. I'm having all these hormonal changes. It's a very confusing period.
State of mind. Yeah.
So that's when, getting back to the roots, getting back to a bit of yoga, getting back to your, there are 3 stages I would say is very important when you reach 50. One is your physical health, where you have to have some sort of a physical activity, which is very, very important, something mild, maybe even if you were a runner all your life, maybe now is the time.
But at least doing some physical activity.
Some physical activity, where it's yoga, or you go to the gym and you strength train a couple of times a week, or you do yoga 4 to 5 times a week, So physical health is very important, because your body starts to make noises from all different places.
Yes.
Second thing, I would say your mental health is very, very important. When I say mental health, it means you go back into pranayama, go back into meditation, go back into mindfulness, and this will have a deep, deep impact on how your physical health is. If you're not well in your mind.
So it has to be aligned.
It has to be
aligned. Yeah.
And I would say, don't push yourself too much, But, listen to your body. The body is constantly talking to us, and if only we would listen to what the body is saying.
Okay.
Let me give you an example. One is, sometimes we feel, anxious or upset in the mind. Okay, maybe a situation where you're stressed out. Do you notice when you're stressed out and anxious, your belly starts to rumble?
Yes.
You feel squishy. You feel
Yes.
like,
That
uneasy
you
in
feel,
the stomach.
yes, exactly.
The belly, this gut is your second brain. You
Okay.
always think of the brain as one brain here.
There are two brains.
The body is constantly talking to each other. The different parts of the body are talking to each other.
And they're so well coordinated.
They're so well coordinated.
Okay.
Next time you have a bloated stomach or a gas or something that's making you,
Uneasy feel, yeah.
think about how you feel at that point. Your brain is also not working to its full capacity when your stomach is not okay. So the gut and the brain are like twins, and they're constantly talking to each other.
And they complement.
Yes, and when they can talk to each other, why can't we listen to what they're talking?
Exactly.
Why can't we listen to the body, So be aware of what is happening in your body and listen to the different signals that the body is giving out, Are you breaking out into sweats more often, or do you feel fatigued? Do you feel lethargic? Do you feel stressful, anxious, shallow breathing? All of these are signs that the body is giving out. Frequent urination. All of these are symptoms and signs that the body is telling you about something. So if only we would slow down and listen to what the body is saying. And you have to slow down and listen to the body when you reach 50.
And observe it, right?
And you'll be surprised. You'll be so surprised that what the body is telling you.
So actually, body gives signals.
Of course, there's nothing that happens just like that. People say, "Oh, I just realized 2 days ago I have this big ailment." No, it's been talking to you, but you didn't listen.
So people keep ignoring, like including me also, I think.
Exactly.
We usually jump into painkillers or having this...
Yes. So how can you listen to your body if you slow down? Slow down. Quieten down. Practice your breathing. How often have we sat down and listened to the sound of our own breath? And the breath is something that is there with you from the minute you're born to the very last minute.
Correct.
But how often does a person sit quietly and observe the breath? Are you breathing more from the right nostril or from the left? Is the breath warm? Is it cool? Is one side of the nostril more open than the other side of the nostril? Little things about your breath. And how deeply am I breathing? Am I breathing just from the top of my chest? Or am I going deeper, breathing from the diaphragm? How do I feel when I deep breathe? So many things you can learn from your breath itself.
Amazing.
And to learn from your breath, you have to sit quietly.
And just relax.
And just breathe.
Yeah.
Don't think of it as a wasteful job where I'm just sitting quietly and breathing. And there are millions of ways how you can manipulate the breath. Closing one nostril, breathing through one, alternate nostril breathing where you activate two different sides of your brain.
So by controlling
manipulating the breath, you can really, really achieve big results. And Pranayama is a deep, deep science. It's not just breathing, it's pranayama. It's the prana, the life force is linked to your breath.
It's so amazing. Like, your simple breath that we are considering, it is actually a magic.
It is.
You can create magic around it.
Your whole demeanor can change, your whole mood can change. And when you pump in so much of oxygen to all the body organs, when you deep breathe, you're literally giving that life force, that prana, to the little cells that are hiding inside the body. And to think they will get this fresh lease of oxygen and start becoming more healthy. You're detoxifying not just your breath, but also all the organs in the body.
And which actually helps.
It helps. Completely it helps.
And saying that, what will be a small tip for our audience, just because how to regulate our breath and what we can do in such hectic, busy schedule, because even I think 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it's more than enough in a day, or what, what you suggest?
For someone starting off on a wellness journey, let me tell you the goals for people who suddenly decided, okay, I want to start getting healthy. Okay, let's get on this wellness journey. First thing I would say is set realistic goals.
Okay.
People come to me on the first week of a yoga class. They've never done yoga before, and they'll say, "Ma'am, can you teach me how to do headstand? You've just been doing yoga for 1 week, No, I want to take a picture and post on Instagram. So please, can you teach me headstand? Yoga is
Peer
not
pressure.
about yoga is not about the poses, and it's about how you feel. It's not about how you look, And
It's all about more inner than outer.
outer.
Yeah.
Sadly, now it's become more and more outer. But yoga technically is how you feel during the pose, how you feel after the pose. Sthira and sukha. Do you feel stable in the pose? Do you feel sukha? Do you feel happy in the pose? Is what yoga is about. Union of the mind and the body. Is what yoga is. So set those realistic goals so you are not getting
or not getting disappointed if you are not seeing the results.
And I would say, like, make sure when you set your vision board or your goals, make sure it has a physical, a mental, and a social aspect to your goals. So don't just let it be like, I want to make more money, or let it be, if you're physically healthy or mentally healthy and you're
socially also happy,
then everything is achieved.
Yes.
So make sure your goals, when you start off on your wellness journey, it's not just, I want to lose 10 kilos. Don't make it like that.
And I think 90% of the people set like that. The first thing when they get on board with the wellness,
how can I lose weight? Nobody comes and asks me, how can I be more happy? How can I be more peaceful? So you'll be surprised when you set goals slightly differently. Rather than just losing weight.
And that setting of goal is so important, right? Like, choosing yoga for being happy and peaceful,
to be peaceful
is more impactful than...
80% come to me for, how can I lose weight? I need to lose my tummy weight, or I need to lose something. It's not about losing weight. You just practice yoga for what it is, and you'll be surprised. Probably you will...
Eventually you'll be happy anyways after reducing.
You'll probably lose weight, or you will be so happy that you're ready to accept the way you are. So try yoga for a different reason and see how it
Excellent.
helps,
One is setting realistic goal, and second is having the 3 segments covered in your
physical, mental, and
social.
Next thing I would say is watch your diet. So diet is almost 60 to 70% of your health. What you put into your mouth is very, very important.
So apart from all exercises.
Exactly. So be aware of what you're eating. Be mindful of what you're eating. Don't just carry a plate and sit in front of the television and keep eating mindlessly. That's why in our ancestors, they had this holistic approach to food, where we sit for a minute, take a moment to pray for that food
before having
food. And then, so I'm a big propagator of all our ancient traditions, bringing them back in today's life. They've all come back in different ways. We always had this intermittent fasting in our ancestors,
where we fast for based on religion, or what.
We didn't eat on certain days of the month, or we always finished eating by sunset.
Exactly.
It's just come back in a different way now. They call it intermittent fasting. We always used to do that.
Exactly.
The Indian culture is so rich and so deep that we always,
and there is always a scientific
reason
behind
it.
Yes.
Why we don't do yoga on certain days, and why we do yoga on certain days. So there's always a reason for everything. So, go back to what your ancestors did.
Do you think everything what we have left behind by our ancestor, it's all coming back now?
It is coming back, and we have to make that effort to bring it back, I would say.
And that's how a good mentor and a trained mentor is important.
Yes. Find a teacher who has this knowledge of this history, the culture, and not just the book knowledge. For this you have to do this, for this you have to do that. Why are you doing that? How it affects the entire body. That is what a good teacher or a good mentor would help you.
One of the happiest moment that you have experienced, during your journey in Wellness with Kala?
Lots of happy moments. I always look forward to a client who comes to me saying that I know something is wrong with me. I don't feel happy. I don't feel comfortable. And I immediately know what the cause is, and I know that this person is going through sort of an issue with the body. So when I can change that person's attitude towards life, or then when after a class they say, that felt really good, thank you so much, because they've stretched out. It's a simple stretching class, but at the end of the class when they say, wow, I feel so good now, or when they do an hour of yoga nidra or meditation, they wake up and they say, has it been an hour? I just didn't realize. I came here, I just lie down on my mat, and you've taken me through your sound healing and through your yoga nidra deep into my consciousness, and when they wake up and I say, it's been an hour, it's you've been here for an hour,
Yeah, and it's so relaxing, and you see and they feel it,
They
right?
feel. When I
And
get feedback from my clients about how they feel, I'm not bothered about did you lose your 10 kilos or did you, I'm more concerned how you feel inside.
an experience.
Experience. Do you feel more peaceful? Do you feel that you're less anxious, less stressful? And one of the biggest benefits of breathing and yoga is you stop reacting to situations. How many times have you said something and you regret it later?
Many times.
Many times. But if you had that mindfulness of your breath, your words, everything, you're aware of everything that's happening within you, you will just stop reacting. You will respond calmly. And there's so much of fallout because you've said something, things have come out of your mouth, words that has hurt the other person, and then you can't take back all this.
Correct,
right?
because the damage is already
It's
done. Yeah.
So how often we react, impulsively we react to situations, and then we regret it. But if you're practicing mindfulness, a bit of meditation, a bit of pranayama, then you respond. You respond calmly because you have that inner confidence in you.
Okay.
You have that inner consciousness in you where words and impulsiveness doesn't happen.
It will, if you practice yoga,
Yes.
you mean it will never come?
No.
Okay.
You're mindful of what you talk.
Okay.
And you're responding in a very calm, measured manner. And it doesn't leave you with a bad sense.
So actually you were doing not only your lifestyle change, but your behavioral and everything.
Everything changes.
Okay. And once you practice yoga and then you take a break, and will this continue? Because usually consistency is a problem.
Yes. So yoga is a lifestyle change. I always tell my people that I come across with, it's not about getting onto the mat for half an hour and moving and saying, I'm a yogi. I've done yoga, I'm a yogi. No.
Half an hour doesn't make you.
That's not, yoga is it's a lifestyle. You're consciously, once you're a yogi throughout your life. You're always aware of things that are happening around you, things that are happening within you. You're always trying to connect back to your soul, connect back to the divinity, connect back to the higher power.
Spiritual.
Yeah, so it's a lifestyle. It's not just about the poses that you can do, and when you look at the history of yoga itself, asanas, the poses are just one tiny part of yoga itself, So our ancestors have said yoga is how you live your life. It's not throughout your life, how you live, how you eat, how you respond or react to people around you.
How you stay in the community.
In the community, still being a yogi,
Yeah.
So that is yoga for me, not just
such a eye-opener thing, because yoga usually perceived with exercises and breathing techniques.
That is something we are trying to change here. Your asana is just a tiny part of yoga itself.
Yeah.
There's so much involved in yoga itself. Pratihara, letting go of your ego, letting go of your inner anxiety, anger, jealousy, hatred. All that is yoga. It's not just I stood on my head, I did yoga, I'm a yogi.
And with poses and all.
Yes.
And how long it will take to learn all this? Like, do you have a time frame or no?
Don't set a time frame. Just go with the flow. Every day turn up and do at least 15 minutes of something.
And make it as a continuous learning process.
Consistency is more important than
than the speed.
Than the speed itself.
Okay.
It's not about the destination you reach. It's about the journey that you're taking. What's the point
Beautiful.
of reaching your destination and then what?
And then again forgetting what you have learned.
It's the journey that is important, how you progress in that journey. And we have to enjoy that journey, isn't it? No point rushing and reaching your destination and then there's nothing.
And on that note, if I see Kala now and Kala 10 years back, when you started.
Huge difference.
Yeah, any significant difference that you see?
Difference in the way I feel, that's more important, the way I...
So we see today very calmer.
Much more calmer. I would be very stressed out and very anxious for such little things. I would scream at my kids or yell at my husband or slam things down because I didn't know what was happening and I wasn't aware and I wasn't mindful of many things. And now if I'm, you can't stop stress and anxiety. You can't stop things around the world.
You
that
cannot control. Yeah, you cannot.
But you can control the way you react to them, isn't it? That's something that is in your power.
Correct.
So if anything is bothering me, anything is anxious, I would go back to my breathing. I'll pause and I'll probably close my eyes and do a little box breathing, you know.
Okay.
Or I would do a couple of inhale and exhale, deeper inhale, deeper exhale. And before I know it, either the moment has passed and I didn't say anything that I would regret, or I'm able to assess the situation properly and react or respond in a very calm manner, you know.
Brilliant. And I think you, by doing this, you know the approach and methods
Exactly,
how to
yeah.
control.
I am in control.
Yeah.
I am in control of how I react.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
not let the situation take control of me. So that is what you would get
In yoga.
In yoga, you know.
And apart from you yourself,
Uh-huh.
it has impacted your family too?
Of course it is. The woman in the family is the most important person, isn't it? And
Yeah.
how the woman of the house behaves and reacts affects everybody's mentality, you know.
So you are the role model for your family now?
I am.
All
I
of
am.
them
All
are
of them
practitioners of yoga?
Yes. I mean, some form of yoga, you know. Although I have 2 boys and they are hardcore gym goers,
Okay.
but they are still mindful of breathing, you know, and we try to incorporate a little bit of pranayama in our everyday routine, you know, and at least 10 minutes of meditation. Just sit quietly and meditate, and you'll be surprised how hard it is to meditate. You know, people think meditation is just sitting quietly and closing your eyes. Try that for 10 minutes.
Definitely,
and
definitely.
see.
It is not. I had gone to Vipassana for 2 times. I think the first time I went, I was so restless.
Yes.
Like, I cannot imagine I spent 13 days meditating
Wow, okay.
all alone without talking to anyone. So it is also
It's
kind
not
of
easy at all.
So
isn't it?
also they teach about the breathing techniques.
Yes.
Know your breath. So
Exactly.
you will experience where all it is
Yeah.
going.
Your best friend is your breath, and that's something that stays with you all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it never leaves you till the very last minute.
Yeah.
So why not become friends with your breath and see how
And
much
see
it
how
is-
all
yeah.
of them organs are coordinated
Exactly.
and
Yes.
and observe that.
Observing, yeah.
I think people these days more than observing, they're absorbing. So we observe our pain, we observe our emotions.
Uh-huh.
That's how it comes as an eruption
Exactly.
where we go into depression
And
and
when you
other.
absorb, it is affecting the cells, right? The cells inside, they have the vibrations, and when you keep giving it the stress absorbing, then the cells get damaged, and all these lifestyle diseases that you get is because your cells are getting damaged, you know,
Yeah.
because of what you're allowing them to absorb, you know. How about just observing once in a while, you know?
Once in a while, yeah. So in a day, if we can say, like in 24 hours, how many minutes we can just sit quietly? Do you advise to sit quietly and observe our breath?
Anytime you get a chance, there is no
5 minutes?
You know, it depends on how much. See, let's say you are in a busy meeting,
Huh.
and you're between meetings, and you've got a little time, and you're a bit worried about the next meeting. You're anxious. You want that to go well. Take a minute, sit quietly, and close your eyes. Observe
And
the
start
breath.
breathing. Observe
Start a
breath.
little deep breathing, and then you'll be surprised when you open your eyes. You're ready for that new meeting. You know.
And with a different energy
so
level.
there's no time when you should be.
Whenever you feel and your
Whenever
body
you feel
says
like-
that.
and your body says, you know what, quieten down, I'm getting a little anxious. Just sit back, close your eyes and breathe. Shut down your phone or your electronic for a minute, and then stop that scrolling, close your eyes and breathe. That's all you need to do. Mentally count your breath. Maybe you can try the box breathing, which is inhale for 4, hold the breath for 4 counts, exhale for 4, and hold that exhale for 4. So this is
Wow.
like a box breathing. Try this, close your eyes, and then mentally just count. Inhaling 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold that breath for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold that exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Normal breathing. Again, you can try that. And just do that about 4-5 times, that box breathing. Mentally, you're drawing a box in your mind. So what is happening is each time you inhale and you hold that breath, you're creating a vacuum. So your exhale is a little longer.
Okay.
And when you hold that exhale,
For a long
your inhale is getting a little more deeper. So you're just trying to increase the capacity of the lungs. We actually use just 10% of our lung capacity. You know, we can use so much more. And
Only 10%?
yes, that's all we're using. We're hardly using the sides of the lungs, the back of the lungs, the base of the lungs. Just deep breathing can work wonders, you know. So think about
I
it.
think that's how the wealth of knowledge that you have.
Yes.
And just how our audience can reach out to know and to experience your wealth of knowledge, if you can share.
Reach out to me on Instagram, Wellness with Kala. That is my main platform. And I try to keep my Instagram a little fun, a little, not very serious, so I come up with Friday challenges where I've seen so many people, they've been sitting on a couch and they've been scrolling and they see me do all sorts of movements. And they're like, if she can do it, I can do it. So I've forced them to get off the couch and actually try something, even if it's for that 1 second that I've made you get off the couch and try a pose, so it's really caught on with a lot of people, my challenges the yoga challenges that I present. And it's a fun way of saying, hey, I was able to do what she's doing. So, that's interesting. I was able to balance
and
that
you,
one
and you
leg.
inspired them to doing, yes.
So if I can get that little interest out of you, I've done my job,
Perfect.
So how people can reach me is my Instagram, Wellness with Kala. So I'd love to see you there. And my LinkedIn or my website. And stay tuned. I will be doing a lot of yoga retreats during this year. So hopefully you can attend some of my yoga retreats. I will be starting my online courses come September. So if you've always been thinking of doing a yoga course, maybe you're not ready to become a yoga teacher yourself, but you're interested in the history of yoga, or you're interested in learning about just pranayama, 20 hours of a pranayama course, or you're interested in meditation for 20 hours, how it affects the body, what happens to
at
the
least
mind.
to self-aware that how it is.
Not everything has to be for you to become commercialized as a yoga teacher, but for your own benefit, I offer a lot of online short courses with giving you a certification at the end of it, just to be more educated, be more aware of so many aspects of yoga, as I said.
Definitely. And I'll request my audience who are listening now, definitely you must reach out to her to know the history, the background and the wellness of yoga, what we can bring, what it can bring a difference in your life. And saying that, my last question to you before we enter the fun game will be like, yoga coming back now, what is the future of yoga in next 10, 20 years?
Well, I hope the future of yoga is not just asanas, and although the social media is flooded with people doing all sorts of poses, and it sort of puts off certain people, if they see a complicated pose and they can't do it, then they're like, no, this is not for me, I'll go back to my
this
walking.
Is not their cup of tea, and they avoid.
So whereas yoga is so much more, so I hope the future of yoga is propagating all the aspects of yoga and not just the complicated poses,
And that's why we need good mentors who actually carry wealth of knowledge about all holistic approach that you have
to yoga, and not just about standing on your head or standing on your shoulders. It is much more than that, and I hope that people will realize the depth that yoga has and are able to take a little peek into this field and see how it changes just for themselves, if not for anyone else, it's just for yourself. See how it can completely transform your life.
And saying that, as we are very fast paced and now you are very niche and empowering people, women approaching 50, do you think with the fast paced world going on, do you think you will start the niche like women approaching 40 itself? Because I think people are aging faster these days.
I do have clients from 40 itself.
Okay.
So, although I say fit at 50, people start to realize at 40 itself that they are going through changes. And a lot of people in the age group of 40, they approach me, So not just about your health and your wellness, I'm also here to offer you guidance, counseling on because I'm also into public speaking and motivational speaking. So what can you do with your life? I'm here to find out that hidden talent that you have. It could just be
and
podcasting. But you love talking to people. That's a big networking. That's a big talent to have. So I love inspiring women. I love giving them a new lease of life. Love helping them discover themselves
and finding their ikigai.
Finding the ikigai itself, because the second half of life is the picture abhi baki hai.
Yes. And that's the most powerful phase of life, right? Where you are fearless.
Exactly. You don't need to answer anyone except yourself. And that is such a beautiful time in your life, and we should not let that age depress us or bring us down. Rather, we should uplift ourselves and make the best of that age group,
It was amazing listening to you, and I think, like me,
Yeah.
all our audience were looking and listening to us right now might be thinking like yoga is far way beyond
Exactly.
exercises
Yes.
and breathing techniques. And the three pyramids that you mentioned, physical, emotional, and social, very important to
When I
have a
say
healthy
social-
well-being.
Yes, when I say social, it means like if you are doing online classes or something, once in a way go for a group class, you know.
Yes, yes.
And meet
And
other
share,
people.
share, yes.
Go join clubs where
Yes.
people of your age group are there. You know, you need that little social element in your life where, you know, actually physically interact in person with people, you know.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. And with your community, Wellness with Kala, I think we are waiting for magic to happen.
Thank you.
And quickly, right now, we'll go through a fun game
Sure.
where you have already told about square and
Yeah.
what box breathing, right? So I'll be giving you scenarios where often we go, be it in corporate world or somewhere where we face anxiety. So we will play rapid fire wellness
Sure.
tips. So I'll be telling the scenarios and you can share what techniques that we can take for a moment or for a few minutes, which will actually help us to counter that situation.
Okay.
So ready to go?
Yeah.
First scenario, stress out before a big meeting in corporate.
Yes. 4-part breathing. I would go for that. Sit quietly, take a moment, and just count in your head and go for that box breathing.
Okay.
And
What we did now.
What we just did now, you know.
Okay. Second thing, feeling low energy in the afternoon.
That's a very common syndrome. There is something called the nitric oxide dump, which is just a 4-minute exercise.
Okay.
You know, which involves squats, which involves raising your hands. It's called the nitric oxide dump exercise.
Okay.
4 minutes, developed by this famous doctor Zach Bush. I try that in the afternoons when I'm feeling a little low in energy. Basically, get off the couch and do this 4 minutes of moving your body, and you'll be surprised how much you feel much better.
Energetic. Just 4 minutes.
Just 4 minutes, you know.
Brilliant. Struggling to sleep at night.
Oh, struggling to sleep at night. Again, it is controlled breathing where you watch the breath and just breathe and be focused on the breath. Body scan meditation, which is also called yoga nidra, where you start
Yoga
to put
nidra.
one part of the body and the other part to rest. So body scan meditation. Maybe read a really boring book. that's a good way to go.
Or
after
start
sleep.
studying.
Yeah, you know, something that you don't want to do. So then the minute you start that, play a word game or something. You know, for me, it is the controlled breathing where I'm just closing my eyes. And it's very tempting to go pick up your phone and do something, you know, and the light can affect you more if you're trying to sleep.
Okay.
So switch off all electronics, keep everything away from your bed, you know, not even close to you because the radiation from that is very strong, you know.
So
Yeah, keep everything electronic switched off, controlled breathing, watch your breath and just count the breaths that you're doing. By the time you reach 10 counts, you've already slept. You know?
slept, yeah. Need a quick break during a busy work day.
Oh yes, that's where I propagate chair yoga and desk yoga.
Okay.
Sitting in your chair, in your office chair, you'll be surprised how much of stretching you can get. All you do is push the chair and stretch out the spine, maybe raise the hands or stand
Can we
up.
do that now?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. So here you are on your chair. Maybe you can release the chair, take the chair off, just stand up nice and tall. 4 times, raise the palms, join. Exhale as you come down. 2 more. Inhale, raise and up. This time, interlock the fingers, turn the palms up, stretch. Take the arms a little back. Maybe lift the heels on your tiptoes. Stretch, 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 stretch. Exhale as you release. Come down, release the palms. Shake it up. If you have a desk, all you can do is hold on to the desk and just go stretch it out, stretch it out, stretch it out, stretch it out. You feel the stretch. Stretch out the spine, walk your feet a little further back, walk the feet back.
Back, extreme back.
Yes. And release the head down and feel the stretch.
Oh,
Feeling
wow.
it?
Yes.
There you go.
Amazing.
That's it.
It's just a matter of 2
2
minutes.
minutes. Just
Brilliant.
Walk from your desk. Maybe attend your phone calls while you're walking instead of just sitting and attending your phone calls. you know.
Yeah.
So just stand up and do a little stretch between your work.
So this 2
meetings.
minutes will make magic.
Also, you already feel the blood
Yes,
flow,
yes.
isn't it? Yes.
Yeah. Last question. Yoga or meditation tip which you might do to avoid fight with your spouse.
Oh, okay.
Is there any yoga for that?
Yoga to avoid a fight with your spouse. It's maybe zip the mouth yoga.
Because so many yogas you said, maybe this is the common thing. People will get angry. The person you love the most, you fight with them the
I
most.
would suggest Brahmari for this. Brahmari is a yoga where it's a pranayama technique where you close with your thumb. You close the ears, bring 2 fingers, close your eyes, and then you start to take a deep inhale. Now your ears are closed, your eyes are closed, and you exhale with a hum. This is called Brahmari breathing, where you've closed 2 of your sense organs. You've closed the ear, you've closed the eyes, right? And your mouth is busy humming. So there's no way you can answer back to your husband.
Exactly, yeah, that's what.
And not just this, the humming creates a sense of calmness in the mind, because you're listening to the sound of your own hum. You do this about 5 times. The husband will be like, she's not answering back to me. She's sitting here and humming.
So the entire family is in calm.
Yes. And you can never talk or you can never think when you're humming. Humming is such a powerful tool to do when you're stressed out. Close 2 of your sense organs. And then you can close the nose a little bit if you want to and just hum. Inhale. You see that?
Brilliant.
You're much calmer now.
Yeah.
And there's no way you can fight back when you've hummed.
The most beautiful insight and exercise that you have told today. And thank you so much, Kala, for being here. And it's a pleasure for me and for our listeners listening to us. Wealth of knowledge.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Like yoga, which is considered by people like me or many people, as exercise.
Yeah.
It's absolutely wrong. I think we are in darkness and it's a time to know more about it. And my last sign-off question to you, what is the legacy that you are leaving behind and who will be taking forward Wellness with Kala in future?
I'm still young. I'm still only 50 for me to be leaving a legacy. I'm going to be around for the next 50 years possibly, continuing this legacy. My legacy would be all women at 50.
Whom you have trained.
Fit at 50, people who can say that they are 50 years and still say, people are surprised that you're 50. I myself have a
you look so young.
Son,
yes.
So my
31-year-old
son who's getting married this year. So, that is the
Use
look,
this.
That is the look I want people to get on their faces.
Amazing. Like no one can guess your age even, right?
Like this is the look I want people to give every woman who is 50 and say, what? I can't believe you're 50.
31-year-old son, unbelievable.
And who's getting married this year. So
congratulations
that's a
very,
for that. Exciting year for me this year.
True.
So this is the look I want everybody to look at women over 50 and say that, what? I can't believe she's 50. She looks
just wait for the wedding day and you'll see how many compliments you are getting.
Not just me. I want this to happen to every woman who's 50, because she's radiating that joy and that happiness,
The second life.
She's not bogged down by issues of the society or the health or the family. She's standing up for herself.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And any re-engineered message that you want to say to our audience?
Never too late. Never give up. You can always re-engineer your life,
and your wellness journey.
Yeah, don't let age be a deterrent to re-engineer. Don't think you're 50 and you can't re-engineer. That is the time when you need to re-engineer even more. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. It was lovely listening to you, and your story is truly inspirational.
Thank you. It's never too late to start afresh.